potent elixir that resides in each and every one of us. This inner chemical, so powerful, so valuable, so high in quality that it can be used for creation twofold. The first, to shoot out the tip of your penis into a woman to create life, or the second, to raise it up and use it as an inner alchemical process to manifest your wildest desires. Welcome back, brother. So in this video, I've got something very interesting to discuss with you. It is the process of alchemy, inner alchemy. So the chemists among you are going to discover the secrets of what is infamously known as the philosopher's stone and how that relates to this practice of semen retention, of not jerking off, and why on earth would you want to continue to do this practice? What are the benefits? What is it going to give you in terms of mental, physical, and spiritual gain? So if you're interested in any of this type of material, then feel free to subscribe, my friend, because we're in for a real treat this evening. I want to begin by referencing the book I'm going to be reading from, and that is The Coiled Serpent by C.J. Van Vliet. I read some of this book before, some of the passages on this channel. You can find those videos in on my channel. And I highlighted a particular chapter as it references inner alchemy and what is the actual process that is happening internally when we proceed to go through this vein of cultivating our sexual energy. So I'm going to read some passages in here and I'm going to unpackage them a little bit more, and hopefully we can start to draw parallels between different philosophies, different teachings, different religions, different cultures, and essentially how it all comes to this idea of cultivating our inner gold. So first, let's define what we mean by inner alchemy in terms of our actual biology, because if you are not privy to it or not, my friend, that you are a factory of chemicals. You have hormones, and in your adolescence you will have experienced some of the more severe cases of how these chemicals can mesh together, interact, and in some circumstances create quite potent reactions. But what the chemists and the alchemists in terms of the spiritual life begin to speak to is a conversion from man from his lower to a higher order of existence. What they wanted was to obtain the pure gold of wisdom from the inferior metals represented by a man's animal passions, by our carnality, by our impulsivity. Okay? It's all about cultivating the body, disciplining the body from, again, this lower aspect and bringing it up to the higher. And that's the beginning of that alchemical process. Our gold is not in any way the gold of the multitude, but it is the living gold. Gold with which the wise are enriched, not that which is coined. Okay, so it's wisdom, it's a knowledge, it's not a physical, tangible, palpable gold. It's an inner gold, inner wealth. Those who labor with dead materials will obtain nothing that lives. So again, it's speaking to the wasting of the sexual energy, the sexual essence, the fluid within you that is also known as the divine blood, I believe they refer to it. Alchemy casts off the sensual man, such a hard word to say. Sensuality suffocates its germ. So again, it's referencing this notion of a seed, of something you plant in the soil and you begin to cultivate, nurture, and bring it to a point where it's rising up. Again, if you imagine what a plant does in the soil, it rises up. And again, that's what we're doing with that energy. So this next part is really interesting. It's from the records of one of the alchemists, and it refers again to this analogy of being a conduit for gold. Like you are an ore found in rock, and you're burning away the undesirable aspects of yourself to get and purify the inner gold. So I gave myself over to wisdom's smelting furnace as a fire of purification till all my vain desires and the tares of earthly lust had burnt away, so that I appeared in spirit as pure gold. This is the process, my friends. Now, in regards to the philosopher's stone, the hidden stone is not sensuously apprehended, but only known intellectually. Okay? It is a great mistake to seek it for in material and external things. You will not find this stone in any earthly possession, any external entity. Our stone consists of body, a soul, and a spirit. In other words, the stone denotes spiritualized man, who consciously and by choice is as little susceptible to the passions as a stone or mineral in its unawakened consciousness. He's speaking about, this record is pertaining to this idea that the stone is unconscious, okay? Being subject to the body is unconscious. You're not there anymore when your passions, when the inner carnal natures of the body take over and you begin to exercise sensual activity, sexual behavior. Okay? You're not present in some of these circumstances. He who knows how to make it homogeny with imperfect bodies knows one of the greatest secrets of nature. Again, so reference here to this potent elixir that resides in each and every one of us. This inner chemical, so powerful, so valuable, so high in quality that it can be used for creation twofold. The first, to shoot out the tip of your penis into a woman to create life, or the second, to raise it up and use it as an inner alchemical process to manifest your wildest desires. This great work is the unification of spirit and body. It is a natural and radical operation in which our natures are perfectly aligned. But first, we must prepare our seed like we were planting seeds in soil, like to that analogy earlier. We must keep it pure, allow it to ripen, and then the sage enjoins us to sow the seeds in a field which has been prepared with living fire. So here we're speaking about the earth, that the body is a manifestation of the earth, okay? And the fluid, which is also called the divine blood here, is the fertilization. So we must first cleanse the body. We must cleanse the soil. For if you put a seed in soil that is not rife with quality minerals, quality nutrients, things that are going to support its growth, then the seed is going to wither and die. Only first, after we have purified our body, our earth, can it be nourishing soil for the seed. We are then furthermore instructed to take a living and indestructible water, which water is called the medium of the soul. The sages have described its power and efficacy as being that of spiritual blood. None of it may be wasted and is therefore deemed necessary to close well the mouth of the phial. So another analogy here, another metaphor, that the phial is the phallus, and if you have an opened phial and you're constantly spilling the contents of that phial everywhere, then you will not be in a position where you can cultivate that high quality fluid for some of the benefits that you have read about. Things like beginning to heal your brain, heal your dopamine system, your reward system, beginning to lift up that high quality fluid up the vertebrae, up the spine, into the brain, to a point where you are beginning to regain some of that spirituality that you had when you were a young child. They often say when you begin to, and I've experienced this, go into the longer streaks of cultivating the sexual energy, that you begin to become more childlike. In that way, you are more divine, you are more conscious, you are bright-eyed, they say, you are glowing. You have that inner whimsical nature return to you. That dullness, that depression, that negative emotion that is ruining your life is a reaction to not cultivating this phial, this quality fluid. For the body must drink of its own prepared water and become ever purer the more it drinks. Understanding that this bodily fluid must be conserved, it causes the body to rise from spiritual death. You're spiritually dead if you not cultivate this fluid. And then it begins to rise once you have sublimated, once you have integrated it within yourself. Our water ascends. All this can be accomplished with our water. That is to say, when reabsorbed by our body, our ultimate or highest secret is by this, our water, to make bodies spiritual. The genuine alchemist's real object was the perfection of man. My friends, I am very wary of the time of this video, and I understand it was a long one. This is a fascinating subject, and I've never met anyone who found it not fascinating, as it's a very divisive subject. But I hope you enjoyed that read. I hope this lended you a little bit more perspective, a little bit more awareness, and fundamentally a little bit more wisdom to take with you when you are beginning to move into this practice. If you're starting with this practice, if you have already started this practice, more rationality behind that you are a internal chemical factory, and you must cultivate that vital energy, that vital fluid, raise it up, keep the file closed, and begin to see your spiritual life blossom. My friends, if you enjoyed this video, if you found anything interesting, if you have any questions for me, please pop them in the comment section just below. But if you subscribe to anything of what I've said here, subscribe to me, my friends, and I'll see you very soon.